Hey guys, welcome back. We've got two very special guests with us today. You heard us on their show. We promised that we would have them on ours. We forgot about it. And then we were like, you know what? We need to have them on because they're going to think that we ghosted them when we didn't. We didn't forget. It was just in the back of our mind for the longest time. And then we were like, we got to bring them back. And so guys, with us today, Morgan,
is Christie and Heather from Sinisterhood.
Hey.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Y'all are so much fun. So.
Yeah, we would wait forever to be back on the show, hanging out with y'all. We were just like, anytime you want to have us, we'll be back because we've been planning our Dollywood trip because
that's coming.
And now that I know there's a $20 pie there that weighs 20
even
pounds,
more incentive.
There's a viral TikTok pie.
Yeah, I will be there. I
will travel to the ends of the earth for a good piece of pie.
So will I. So we're gonna have a great time.
I wonder though if it's just a fall special or if it's a year-round thing.
Well, go.
Don't worry,
fast
because we have to do it for Dollyween either way.
True. We'll be back.
We need to see the pumpkin pyramid. Mm-hmm. It's just
and
like
they
even
have
more
like
expensive.
4,000-pound pumpkins there that were like the size of this room.
They do it like for the Gatlinburg fairs and stuff.
Okay. I'm like, who injected that pumpkin with steroids?
Yeah,
because that's not real.
But first off, whose papa did that? Whose papa knows how to do that?
He's like, I've been growing pumpkins my whole life. This ain't nothing. And you're like, this is a big one.
This one's definitely gaining interest in Dollywood.
Hey, Papa sold his soul to the devil for those pumpkins. 100%.
Winner gets a 20-pound piece of pie.
Exactly.
Papa goes out there and pricks his finger when he's tilling the soil at the beginning of each season. He's like, here's my sacrifice. And then
that's the one.
You got a bibbity bobbity boo pumpkin that pops up out of the ground.
Hilarious.
Heather's got one of those in her front yard right now. Every time I go over there, I'm like, next time I come over here, a carriage will be attached to this pumpkin. It is the biggest pumpkin I've ever seen.
Is it real?
Oh yeah, I got a big. My landscape architect, outdoor aesthetics came and said, "Hey, we put some gourds out." I said, "I'm never going to say no to a good gourd."
Yeah, let's do it.
And I was undersold on it's a beautiful setup and arrangement, and then there's like a statement pumpkin in the front, and I was like, "How would you?" That's just Stephanie who runs it. That's a person who just knows you because she's like, "I'm making this big weird looking pumpkin, Heather," and I love it, and it looks like it is seconds away from becoming like a Cinderella carriage situation because it's humongous.
I want a gigantor real pumpkin. I'm going to go up to Dolly. I'm going to reach out to Dolly because again.
Be like, can I buy that 4,000-pound pumpkin?
I'm going to find her. Yeah, I'm like, how much do I have to pay you to get one of Papa's pumpkins in my front yard? Because I will do it, And I feel like Dolly would be like, honey, don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
They're for everybody.
Pick it up.
When I was
pick yourself one.
When I was a kid going to the pumpkin patch, I looked for the most perfect pumpkin. Had to be perfect. This year when my mom came down for Dollywood and she was like, I have to decorate your front porch, let's go buy some pumpkins, some mums, some gourd, let's do this and that. And we're shopping and I am picking out the ugliest, weirdest pumpkins ever.
Deranged.
And I'm like, she's like, all right, are you all right? And I'm like, that one's so cute. It's like shaped like an L.
A Dr. Seuss pumpkin.
It's green and white. And she's like, okay,
I like the
Frankenstein.
It's kind of like a round ball with like a long phallic
I love those.
dog.
Yeah.
I love those things, man. Because you can wield them if you needed to. It's got a handle on it for whacking.
Oh, when we went to the pumpkin patch, Ella, my daughter, we were picking them up. And it was like a huge green and white gourd with a big thing. And she was like, this one's got a handle. I was like, bring it on over.
Bring the handle, thank God.
Bring it on over to the wagon.
That's what I would pick when I would go to the pumpkin patch when I was little. It was more so about what is going to be the easiest for me to carry but still look cool. And if it had like the really thick, good little handle that I could get it like halfway over there before I like had my dad come get it, and like that's the one I would pick because I kind of wanted to carry it on my own. Yeah. I didn't want to have to run and go get my dad. He can't hear for shit for some reason, and I had to scream across the whole pumpkin patch for him to come over and carry it for me.
Daddy, I got me a thick one.
I got me a thick one, Dad. Come on. And he would come over and carry it for me.
Taylor.
Then they rot off, like they just completely.
The squirrels and the raccoons have been eating mine. They just all come out every day and there's just a big ass hole in it. I'm like, oh, back to nature. I was gonna throw them away or not throw them away or take them to. They have like animal sanctuaries.
Yeah,
you can
we
take
feed
your
them to our
pumpkins
pig.
Feed them to Petal.
You should let that giant pumpkin maybe rot a little, plant a little pumpkin seed in the front yard. That way you got a bigger pumpkin
grow
next
one.
year.
They're
You're
like,
gonna get your own patch.
I'm gonna get a call from my neighbors of like, there's a pumpkin patch and it's spread to our yard too.
Getting really bad. It's getting really out
taking
of
over the
hand.
street.
It's out of control.
You're like, I just wanted to be celebratory, so just
I'm
come pick your pumpkins.
festive.
For
In all your
free.
faces. That happened to Christy and them. They fed pumpkins to their 90-pound pig and she shat a garden.
She did, yeah. A couple years ago, we had given her pumpkin. She loves pumpkins, so we'll feed them to her after we've used them for decorative purposes. And then the next year, there was like this plant we'd never seen growing in the backyard, and we Google image searched it, and it was a pumpkin plant. And I'm like, Petal did this herself. Like, this went into the
Petal's
earth
garden.
and out her, and she's planted this.
This
and
is her
then
child.
It never did. It didn't flower, unfortunately. We never got a pumpkin
Petals, I'm
from
so
it.
sorry that you lost your pumpkin. I'm so sorry.
Maybe this year, because I'm going to give her that big ass gourd.
I think you
See
need to
what we
triple
got.
your chances by getting the Cinderella gourd.
Oh,
and
yeah, we'll
taking
cut a
that.
slice.
Yeah.
Let Petal go after that. It's
All
as
of a
big as she
sudden-
is.
All of a sudden, Petal loves blueberries, strawberries.
Yep. And you're going to end up
avocados.
having an entire awesome wild
She
garden.
plants you
I would love that.
an entire grocery store
I-
in your
I
backyard.
love it.
All we got to do is feed her stuff, and then she does all the work. I'm here for it.
I
I'm
love
back.
that.
Yes.
You
That
know,
is
I think I need one.
So this comes out, Taylor, on Thanksgiving?
This comes out on Thanksgiving. So
happy
when we
Thanksgiving,
were like
everybody.
looking around to see like, okay, which one should we bring them on? And we started talking about it back in August, being like, should we bring them on in August? And we're like, no, because, you know, it's just ending of the season 3. Like, let's just knuckle and buckle and get through this shit. And then we'll do it at a later date. So season 4 comes and we're like, okay, October, we had our Halloween special. And then we had Kelsey Kreppel on. And I was like, you know, we were trying to decide which day is going to be the creepy account episode, because we've been playing like musical chairs with our creepy accounts recently. They're just used to be on the first of the month. Now they're wherever the hell in the month that it falls. And we were like, which one, because we know that this is gonna be a great episode, which one should we put this out on? And we were like, Thanksgiving, because that's when everyone's like either at their wits end with their family.
Yes. You're like, I'm going to go on a walk. What are you going to do on a walk? I'm listening to my podcast. Leave me alone. Are you gonna do the dishes or something? And you're like, I sit here and do the dishes or whatever. Yeah, we're here to
Headphones
keep you
on.
company.
Yep,
hope
we've got the
everybody-
extra long straw in your wine bottle.
Yeah.
I
It's
hope
that type of
everybody
guy.
that's
Yes.
listening is full and happy and,
Yes.
and as close to or as far from everybody around you as you want to be.
Exactly.
wanna be.
That's
Exactly.
exactly what it is.
Oh, holidays really bring out the worst sometimes.
They do. They do.
I do.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like, what
Happy
is that? She's in the bathroom
Thanksgiving.
vaping. It's fine.
I'm just in the bathroom vaping,
Swear to God.
listening to my podcast. Leave me be.
They're like, "What's that smell?" And they're like,
Shut up.
They're like, where did all
You're
the
like,
older
I
cousins
burned
go?
the green
They're
bean
walking.
casserole. Shut up. It's just. the
It's
stuff.
my incense.
Yeah, burning a candle in here. It's pineapple haze candle.
Yeah.
It's burning something. Just shut up. Stop knocking on the door. Stop it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's exactly the scent of my candle too, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another good pineapple haze.
No, Pineapple Express is my 10 out of 10 always.
Yeah.
Pineapple
I like
Express
the
is a
crust.
great one.
Yeah.
It's my fave.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
a good one.
little fruity flavor.
good
I
one.
recently tried cantaloupe like zap or something. I don't know. It was like a cantaloupe sour. That's what it was.
Oh.
Guys, I felt like I did a line of coke after I did it. I was
no.
like,
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
I was going to have an anxiety attack. I
I don't like that.
I cleaned the whole house. Don't get it. But
Yeah,
unless
do
you
it.
like need to force yourself to do something like clean the house, I guess, because you got to get energy out, don't do it. Because if I would have hit that at night, oh my God,
Up all night.
Never would have slept.
3:00 in the morning, I would have been like doing rituals outside in my neighborhood.
No more Adderall. You got cantaloupe sour.
Yeah, no more Adderall. Who needs that? Who needs Adderall? You got cantaloupe sour. Oh my God. But holidays are so fun. And I think Thanksgiving is probably it's like my favorite but least favorite at the same time, because I get so excited for it and I hype it up in my head so much that it's like this mystical like fantasy world of like what Thanksgiving's gonna be like. And then you get there and you do all the things, and grandmas cry when you pass around whatever you pass around to say what you're thankful for. And mine's a toilet paper roll that I made when I was like 5, and my grandma brings it every year in her purse.
Oh.
And I bedazzled it. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, she brings it every year, but she takes it home with her because she can't trust my mom. because my mom's like anti-hoarder. My mom like throws out everything, like very sentimental shit. And my grandma's
this is in a glass box.
It is. It sits on our nightstand.
She's like handcuffed to her wrist. She's like, nobody's getting this toilet paper roll.
she like will hold it so hard. I'm like, hey Nana, it might crumple if you get sweaty palms on it.
It was made like
it's 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know, like
I want to be buried with it.
you know. Yeah, so
that's so sweet.
That is very sweet.
We all like pass it around like this and do it when what we're thankful for. But I love that. It's so fun, and what's the best part about it is I initiated it because we never used to do that, and I made it up in my head in there, and because we go around the table. I'm like, why won't we go around the table with something physical as we do this? That sounds right.
Smart.
At first, I started off with a rock named Rose, and then I dropped her and she shattered.
Oh, Rose.
So
it's
then
like a speaking stick.
it is like a speaking stick.
A conch shell or something.
I must have gone to like a cheer camp or something and had a spirit stick that went around because that's where I got the idea from.
Yep, that's coming to Thanksgiving.
We're bringing it to Thanksgiving. Nana will appreciate it.
Our own spirit stick.
Nana approves.
Dude,
Yeah.
I tell my family to do that. That's like
you should.
one time a year we all get together. That's a good thing to do.
You know
Share.
how
Bring a mic.
convenient that would be to have a talking stick at holidays.
Yeah.
Only the person that's holding the stick is allowed to speak.
Yeah, everyone
and
shut
my
up.
children do not ever get it. It's never given to their hands.
No, right. And then there's always that one person at your Thanksgiving that will go take it too far, and that person's never allowed to do the prayer if you do a prayer at Thanksgiving. Because my God, no one's ever eating. No one will ever get to eat.
You're like, we're starving, and this deviled egg isn't going to eat itself.
Yep.
So you've got to wrap this up.
Look, my
remember as a
husband
kid-
is that person.
Oh, is he? He's doing the long prayer?
He doesn't mean to. He just like gets nervous around God, I guess. And he's
And family.
He's like, I'm talking to the big man. I'm talking to the boss.
He's like,
can't fuck it up.
Gets really nervous, and he's like making sure he didn't miss anything. I'm like, hey, God gets it. God knows. He can hear you.
Our
in here.
prayers are
You're good.
so long.
Yeah, we stopped my uncle from doing them. He's not allowed anymore.
All of my uncles are literally like pastors
Same.
or priests.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
Oh,
We don't have-
So they're
we're
all
not-
trying to outshine each other.
Yeah.
Too. Like,
Yeah,
well,
Father God.
Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
We have one single uncle that goes to church, and so we're always like, all right, it's up. You're up, buddy. And he's like, all right, well.
It's your time to shine.
Yeah, it's your time to shine because none of us do. So
Yep.
You're up. And he's ready. We call him Brother John. It's my Uncle John. We're like, all right, Brother John, it's time for the prayer. We all hold hands. It's very
Bring it up.
cute.
I love
All
that.
the time. We all pray together.
Yeah, I love that. I love prayers too when you make someone who's never done the family prayer do it for the first time. That shit.
No, my
It's
uncles
so-
don't give that
so
duty up.
anxiety
That is for
inducing.
them.
I need to know how
don't do
each
that.
of your uncles top each other with how they address God, because you've got Father God.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
Father
don't know.
God.
I couldn't
And
tell
then
you
you
off the top
got
of my
and
head.
Father God's like the most serious
There is
that
no
it can
sweet
be.
baby Jesus though. I do know.
No,
that.
there's not.
I
No,
love a
Jesus
sweet
doing
baby
a high
Jesus.
dancer.
Big G. Big G. Do we
Hey,
call him
Big
that?
G.
Papa
Hey,
G.
G. They would never.
You're right. They would never. That would be sacrilegious. I think my grandma would fall out of her fucking chair if I ever said that.
So she's like, I crushed the turkey. Thanks a lot.
I
Damn
know
it.
the whole
Fell
like
on the toilet
paper
toilet
roll
paper roll holder.
is crushed
You're calling God
after
Big
calling him
G.
Baby G.
No.
No, Savior.
I don't know. I don't go to church. So
Holy
I'm
Spirit.
recalling my Episcopalian private school days to remember what.
Oh, you were
what they
Episcopalian.
I don't
Was
know if I
are.
was, but I went to an Episcopalian private school for kindergarten through 8th grade.
Well, let me
so
tell
we had
you.
to go to chapel like every three times a week, and then Eucharist on Fridays and stuff like that.
Y'all got shit on lockdown. I covered a case.
I'm not an Episcopalian now,
Right,
so I
okay.
can't claim anything now.
Formerly your school, the Episcopalian, you guys have your shit on lockdown. We covered a case from my hometown a while back, and we were like phoning friends that we were like, hey, do you happen to know anyone that's Episcopalian? Because we didn't know what, not uterus. What did you just say?
Eucharist.
Eucharist.
The
Yeah.
uterus.
It's communion, yeah.
Yeah,
Time to
communion.
put the uterus in your
I-
mouth. You're like, this
Uterus
is
Friday.
Everyone, please stand up to collect your uterus.
Yeah. And we're like, this is weird, but I guess there's a bunch of priests telling us to do it.
And I just couldn't, I like, the difference between I was raised Southern Baptist and and Church of God too. So like the like it's not like a priest or anything. But I know a lot about Catholicism, and I have a lot of friends that are Catholic. So I was calling them and I was like, hey, is Catholic priests more similar, or should we go like, is it Methodist or there's another denomination that has also a priest but isn't Catholic? We were phoning friends all over trying to find someone who could like just like shed some light. We finally found stuff because we tried to Google it, but if you don't really know what the situation is, it's a lot harder to understand.
What it's more akin to Catholicism as far as like the pomp and circumstance and ritual of like incense and priest and robes and
rituals and traditional things.
It's formal like that.
It was
that's
really
what
cool.
I always associated with church growing up, and then when I would like meet a friend that went to like a more modern church where it's just like a guy with an acoustic guitar on a stool, I was
barefoot.
like, what is happening right now?
Like,
You're
this
like,
is very
what?
different.
Yeah.
And the Southern
Very
Baptist
different.
too, where they just an old man screams in the pulpit.
Screams the entire
"Should we-
time."
At what point do we call 911? He's like, I'm ready to go to the Lord. And you're like, well, I guess don't call. Just let him go.
Okay.
Just let him do his thing. And then there's always that one woman that goes a cappella at the front.
Yes.
And then you have the organ, and that's it. And everyone has their hymn books.
Oh yeah, we had the organ too. The
Good
organ was crazy.
God.
Oh, man.
I have nightmares about that shit sometimes.
Yeah, no
But the
flashbacks.
people in church can sing, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
everyone in a church can sing except
it.
for me every time. And I'm like, I want to get up there and have that confidence to just sing in front of a crowd. So I want to try it. I never did.
I believe in you. You can do it.
Thank you.
Do it.
If anyone should be accepting of you, it should be people at a church service.
Yeah.
Right,
You're
you'd
trying
think, yeah.
to.
That's true. It's church
Sing
on
the, sing the words of the Lord.
It's
Yeah.
not American Idol. They're not like, get out.
Excuse me, but sit down. Yeah.
The voice where they like don't turn around.
Yeah.
Oh.
None of the priests turn around. They're like, I'm sorry, we're not letting you
This
through
is
the
not
next
the one.
round.
Yeah, like, all right, I'm going to fight a priest today.
The Holy Spirit didn't move me to turn around, which
Yeah.
tells me that you're cursed. You're actually probably going to go to hell for that.
And then it just turns really bad, and it turns into like
actually
a
need to
witch
be
trial at the
escorted.
end. If you can't get any of the priests to turn around, it's now like a witch trial.
Yeah, you're burned at the stake.
You're burned at the stake.
High stakes.
It is high stakes. No one go up and don't go on the priest voice edition. It's like priest Vatican City. That's what it is.
Vatican's Got Talent. Don't go.
Vatican's got talent. Nice.
The Pope is
Nice.
like Simon up there. And
He's like,
The red X might appear behind your head.
yeah, the red
You
X.
might get the golden
but it's a
buzzer.
cross.
It's red crosses.
Yeah.
That is so
This
good.
writes itself. There we go.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that is so good. I love it. Okay, guys, so we're going to read you guys some stories today from
Nice.
our listeners. And if we get tired and you guys want to take over reading some, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah,
But-
let us know.
Yeah, if you ever want to, just let us know. But see, I would shit my fucking pants if someone ever said that to me on a podcast, because I told you guys this before. I can't read. I'm not good at
You're
it.
about to, so I'm on the edge of
Cheering
my
you on.
seat to see how this goes.
You guys should be very excited. I'm going to go get my Purple Haze or my Pineapple Express, and we'll see if we can get through it. Okay,
Get a
Morgan, you want to
little
go
sour.
first?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool, because that one looks kind of long.
Okay. So the first one we have is from Audrey using she, her pronouns, and the title is My Haunted Apartment.
I'm very excited.
Dun, dun, dun. Hey, my favorite besties. I'm Audrey, she, her from Quebec, Canada. Excuse the broken English. We are Frenchies.
Hi, Frenchies.
So, this is one of my favorite stories. This made me believe in mediums. When my grandpa died, my grandma gave me a lot of things: furniture, his tools, his favorite couch, jewels, and even his hat. We had just moved in an old apartment that was built in 1940. Sometimes there were weird noises, but we didn't really pay attention because the apartment was old. We were not allowed to smoke inside, so I would smoke outside, but my rebel husband was always smoking in the basement.
I'm the husband.
When it got colder outside, I started to smoke with him in the basement. So this night we were smoking and we heard footsteps in the kitchen right above the basement, but nobody was home with us. I asked my husband if he heard it. He looked at me in shock and tells me that he hears it every time he's in the basement. But he thought it was just in his head since there was no one in the kitchen. I said, well, it could be our dog, but we heard more of like clear, stompy footsteps and we saw our dog sitting next to us. Since this night, we heard a lot of weird noises, footsteps, knocking. Our dog and cat were constantly watching something that we couldn't see. My cat was jumping, trying to catch something invisible and always scratching the basement door. My dog was always barking at something invisible all day and all night long. One night, while walking next to the basement door, I felt strangled. Strangled. I freaked out. I could really feel a pressure all around my throat. It lasted maybe a minute and went away. I thought something evil was in the basement, so I put salt at the top of the stairs and kept the door closed. We called a medium to investigate. She told my husband on the phone, keep in mind she has never been to our apartment and doesn't know what happened in my life, and she tells him, quote, your wife's grandpa is stuck in his favorite couch, the beige one. I was mortified.
I just have chills.
I didn't even think it could be him. I was shook, but very excited at the same time. We are not crazy. It was really happening, and I got to experience a seance with a medium and my grandpa. When the medium arrived, she tells us that there are two spirits, my grandpa and some woman who is stuck there too. She says, let's start with grandpa. And she talks with him for a bit, and she tells me, quote, he wants to give you something important in a little purple bag that's in your drawer. I'm like, what? I ain't got no purple bag in my drawer. So she tells me, well, why don't you go look?
Oh, God.
So I went and I opened my drawer, and I had totally forgot about it, but my grandpa gave me a little purple bag with all of his cufflinks. As soon as I got the bag out, she smiled, took it, and started going through it. She handed me a cufflink with a boat on it and said this was the one that was going to protect me and to keep it. After that, she went to my room with me to find the other spirit, the woman. She asked me to see the closet, and as soon as I opened the closet, I felt strangled again. I didn't say anything. I just kind of turned my head to look at the medium, and she tells me, oh, you feel it too? She wants to show us how she died.
Oh my God.
Trigger warning, suicide. She hung herself here in this closet. I was speechless. I never had a paranormal experience that was so real and so physical. So I told the medium that I felt the same thing the other day, and I put salt at the top of the stairs. She told me that I shouldn't have done that. She said that, quote, the salt needs to be put after the spirit has left so that they cannot come back. If you put salt while they are here, you will imprison them with you. The spirit was trying to show you how she died, and you responded by locking her in the basement.
God. Oh my God, well, I didn't know that's what she was trying to show you. I thought she was trying to kill me. Yeah. She says, God, I felt so bad. So now you know. Don't do that. I washed the salt away and apologized to the spirit lady. We sat down, my husband, the medium, and me on the floor in a circle with a candle. We used our energy to help both the lady and my grandpa find the light. It was draining. We felt so tired after that. After this, my cat stopped scratching the basement door, and she wasn't even interested at all with it anymore. My cats and dog never tried to chase anything invisible again, and the footsteps and the other noises stopped. They really found their way, and they left. It was a beautiful experience, and I loved everything about it. I hope you liked it too. Audrey. Damn.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that about salt keeping. I knew it protected you. I've seen it like used where a protective circle of salt, but I didn't know it would trap something there with you. So that's good to know.
I guess it makes sense that you have a bunch of people over or someone that you don't really like, because then it cleanses them as soon as they walk through your front door. That makes sense. So then for it, like, locked her down into the basement or locked her into the closet, I guess, the woman down there.
Yeah, somehow.
But
like
the way that
her.
the medium was like, she was trying to show you how she died, and you responded by just locking her down there. I'm like,
you monster.
She choked me. I didn't know.
She just choked you again because she's a little upset with how you reacted. She's trying to share her life story.
Yeah.
And you're like in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Let's respond with kindness regardless if it's a living or a dead soul. Like, let's be
How cool is it
kind.
though to see like validation from a medium like actually working in the space, clearing out spirits? Like she
That
was
was so
able
cool.
to see that the dogs didn't react anymore. There was no more stares. She never felt strangled again. Like no more noises. Like that.
purple
That's
bag
cool.
was there.
The purple bag. How crazy is that?
That is crazy.
I wonder the
saying all that.
significance of the boat, because the one that she was asked to keep, the cufflink, had a boat on it. So I wonder what that significance was, why that would be the protector.
The first thing that popped in my mind when you said boat was St. Christopher. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my grandfather, anytime he would go like boating, and my father-in-law does it too, or my grandfather was a truck driver, he wore St. Christopher because it's like the protection of on the journey or of the traveler.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. There was somebody
that.
recently was talking about burying a St. Christopher statue or a medallion or something in the yard of somebody that passed away. Maybe they did that because it made them feel like their loved one could like journey or try,
that's really common with Catholics. They will bury saints in the yard
Because it helps guide the spirit out. Like he'll help them on their journey to the afterlife.
But you're right. The boat or like, the river that, that we hear about death and putting the coins over the eyes and all that. So there's a lot of water energy movement that the boat relates to.
sure,
Or it could have meant a lot to him, a cufflink that he wore on a really special day. And that was like his energy to protect, protect his granddaughter. But at least you get to help your grandpa and another trap spirit.
Wouldn't we all be like, though, babe, you've been listening to these footsteps for
Right.
like months and
He's
you
like,
haven't
it's all the
decided
time.
to clue me in on this?
Yeah, it's all the time. He keeps being like, free
Happens
me,
all the
free
time,
my
yeah.
soul. He screams up there all the time. Sounds like your grandpa, actually. It's weird. Anyway, I was just been smoking down here.
I'm positive
husband thing to
that
do,
the
not to
husband
fucking
got
tell you.
choked. The husband
Yeah.
for sure was choked multiple times.
And was like,
Yeah.
It's like,
indigestion. God, I guess it's the.
I gotta stop
I guess
eating
it's my
chili
vape.
so late. You're
I
like,
hit my vape too hard.
he's like, I need to open the window when I'm smoking
Cantaloupe
inside.
sour really got the best of me.
Yeah, he's like, my chest got tight, and you're like,
You're like,
Babe?
no, a ghost was choking me.
yeah, no, wasn't that? And you definitely shouldn't have locked her down there. You should have listened
just
to her.
oblivious.
Yeah, we're gonna blame that on him. That's
really,
hilarious.
really cool story,
It's
though,
on him.
Audrey. Thank
That was
you.
a really cool story.
Yeah.
And
That was
Audrey, like that, I know Morgan and I have firsthand experience like helping a spirit cross over, and it is incredibly draining, but so like, oh, we told you guys the story.
Yes.
So like heartwarming, but if it's someone that's attached, like grandpa,
I was shattered.
okay, yeah, she gets absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
It was so sad.
it was so sad. Like, just like feeling that energy leave you. It's like having a
Yeah.
blanket on and then taking it off and walking outside and it's snowing. It's
That's a really good metaphor for
beautiful.
that. Yeah.
thank you. I've been kind of like Shakespeare lately,
yeah, you're poetic as
Writing a
fuck.
book. Spoiler alert.
She's
the new Shakespeare.
lately.
Okay, the next one we have is from, thank you so much, Audrey, for running that in. The next one we have is from Jessica, and the title is, Do You Hear the Phones Ringing? And I gave birth to the reincarnation of a German person.
Oh, shit. I love
we go.
reincarnation stories.
Hey ladies, you can use my name since there are like 1,000 of me in my area. My name is Jessica. I have been born and raised in Northeast Ohio and still live here. Honestly, I'm not sure how with all the bad voodoo that goes on here, but my why is because my family will not leave. Everyone else okay here in Ohio? Question mark. No, really though. Because I know I am not, especially since I have been really young. I have had a feeling that there are things always around and that eerie feeling that I'm being watched or that there's just negativity in the air. My husband has been extremely skeptical of everything I have ever said. That is until we had kids. Side note, I am super sorry that this might be long and lengthy and hard to read. I'm trying to rush this since it's getting dark and I refuse to be near the windows at night, and just so happens my computer is right next to a window. Well, I'm terrified for that warning that you just gave me. Here we go. I have so many different creepy accounts, but I wanted to start with the one that pops into my head first. When I was around the age of 3 or 4 years old, I have always felt that eerie feeling that I was being watched, but never got into it until I was about 14 years old. So when I was about 6 months old, my great aunt passed away randomly. Therefore, I never got to meet her, but through my childhood, I would randomly hear ringing, like from a landline, and I never thought much of it, especially since it was in the 90s and everyone, literally everyone had one. And when I would ask my mom about it, she would say, quote, "It's probably just your great aunt calling to say hi to you," end quote, since I was the only one who heard any ringing. When I was around the age of 12, I was at home alone with my brother, and while I finished all of my chores and all of his, I clearly did his chores to avoid mom yelling when she got home and to avoid the silent but scary note that she would
Fair.
leave on the back of an old piece of mail.
Fair.
I just, not the old piece of mail note. I decided to lay on the couch for a break while enjoying my brother's snacks he had, quote, hidden, but I was always happy to eat them for him, and something caught my eye. I looked down the hall towards my room, and I saw a light the size of a person come from the wall and walk into the closet. I instantly shook it off and just thought it was my young imagination creeping me out. Nonetheless, I felt safe. When I approached the age of about 14, I started hearing more and more of the ringing of a phone. By then, we all had cell phones except for my dad. And we all knew that he had a routine of only getting morning time phone calls off the landline. I love that. One day, I had finally had enough of the noise that I broke. While we were eating dinner, I stood up asking if anyone else had heard the phone ringing, and my parents and my brother just looked at me like I was crazy. Obviously, I knew I was not going crazy and that this had been going on forever at extremely random times. This day, though, I decided to follow that sound and determine the source. While standing in the middle of the kitchen, I turned to listen for the noise, and it was coming from the hallway, the one that the closet is in. I slowly opened the sliding doors and nothing. I still heard the ringing, though. I started to take everything in the closet out at once, and once it was empty, I looked up, and there was an attic entrance. Shut the hell
That
up.
she didn't know about.
Don't like that.
The ringing was coming from up there.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Don't go in the attic. Isn't that a movie
No.
title?
That's
That
just
was
good
the title of
advice.
Seth's story, last creepy account.
Right. Don't go in the attic.
God, in the attic. The ringing was coming from up there, and I had no idea that we even had an attic. And I kept asking if anyone else heard the ringing, and nobody, absolutely nobody, was hearing it but me. I decided to give in on the search, and I put everything back away, but I would still hear the ringing from time to time. Matter of fact, just the other day, I was there at my childhood home, and I heard the ringing again. I asked my kids if they could hear anything, and they both said no. My mom knew at this point what I was hearing and why I asked them, but I absolutely will not tell them what I'm hearing since I don't want to scare them and for them not to want to stay at sleepovers at my mom and papa's. That's very nice. That is
For
very
sure.
nice. Every time I do open the door to that closet, I do feel pressure, but it's almost like a calming sensation. I'm going to try and tell another story really fast since it's almost completely black outside. It's just a nope goat situation. Got it. I'm ready for it.
Nope
Whatever the
goat.
fuck it
Let's
is,
do
I'm in. Do you believe in reincarnation? I know you do. I know it says I know you. I know I do. Yeah, I do too. Do you believe in reincarnation? I know I do. And now my husband does as well. So my husband and I are high school sweethearts and have actually known each other since we were in preschool. Aww. Cute. Trigger warning for loss of a child. But we got married right after we had a miscarriage at the age of 19. And while on our honeymoon, we conceived our oldest daughter. After having her, we had so much fun with all the little milestones, the rolling, cooing, clapping, crawling. And then we thought we were ready for the talking. We definitely were not ready for what we heard first, though. We expected mama or dada, but nope, we got...
Neen.
Okay.
9?
Nine.
Like
No.
no,
No in
in
German.
It's no,
Nine?
no in German.
9. We got 9. We thought it was just some fluke and that she was baby talking, but then we got a few other words in German, like donk, dank, thank you.
Donka. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donka.
I'm
You
going
guys
to
are
just send
so
you guys
smart.
this one, thank God.
Yeah, all of our knowledge comes from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, it's
so
from Ferris
it's not
Bueller.
like we're
Or from The
fluent in
Office.
German.
Do you know
Yeah,
how to
Dwight
say,
speaks
do you know
in
how to say
German.
please?
Please
Bitty.
in German.
How do you spell it?
Bitty, it looks like Bitte.
Bite? I would say, that's
Bite.
probably how I would say it.
Bite. Yeah.
Bite. And then gut nacht, good night.
Gosh.
Guten Nacht?
Oh.
Guten Nacht.
Guten
Yeah.
Nacht or Guten
I was trying to
Tag
use
is
that
good
back
morning.
of the throat thing.
I spent a minute in Germany, about a week on vacation.
That sounds fun. Like I said before, we are both from Northeast Ohio and not from Germany, and neither one of us are German. We were super confused until one day my mom and I took her with us to do some Christmas shopping at Sears, and the boy helping us there was so kind, but we could tell that he had an accent. And when we asked where he was from, he kindly replied, Germany. My eyes got large, and when I asked him if he would do me a favor, he was happy to oblige. So I asked him to talk to my daughter. He was super confused and asked if we were also German or from Germany. And I said no. And I began to explain everything and what she was saying. And he translated everything we had heard her say. To our surprise, he then turned to my daughter and all I heard him say was Krampus.
Oh, yeah.
And
Krampus.
She then got extremely excited.
Uh-huh.
I was watching in disbelief as they had a full conversation in German.
Whoa.
And when they were done, I asked him what was said. He told me that they were talking about how she was extremely excited about Christmas and how she was preparing for Krampus. She had also told him that she was confused on why she was here with us. She was about 2 years old at this time, by the way. So now this guy thinks that she's kidnapped.
They're like, they stole this kid from Germany.
They
She
stole
speaks
this German
fluent
baby. They're trying to force her to be American.
She can speak fluent German and in
God,
full
it's
conversations.
incredible.
I don't know what these people brought me here, but I'm excited
No,
for
it's
Christmas.
fully about Krampus.
Yeah,
and the whole lore of that, which is
my God.
crazy.
She was about 2 years old then. When she was about 3 or 4 years old, she began to forget all of the German that she knew and talked in perfect English, beside with an occasional twang in her voice that drove my husband crazy, since she spent so much time while I was working with my grandma that was from the deep parts of West Virginia.
While she was working, she was with her grandma.
Oh.
Developed a West Virginia twang.
Oh, okay, I get it. I got it now. Okay.
Bad goods.
I see it now. All right. She would be watching TV and then all of a sudden she would look at the wall and start screaming. But when we would come back to check on her, it looked like her eyes were glazed over and she would get super aggressive towards herself and others. She would also start ripping out her hair and eating it. So we decided for her safety that we were going to give her a super short haircut so she would no longer harm herself in that way. When she would snap out of it, it was like nothing had ever happened and she was fine again. Slowly and finally, she began to outgrow this, but it was like something had stuck with her all of these years. And I personally think it contributes to her extreme anxiety and depression. Thankfully, she has a few outlets for when she's feeling certain ways and is able to talk and communicate with us and also is seeing a therapist. Well, it's finally dark and I'm out of here. If you would like to hear about the dark-haired woman that would talk to our kiddos when we first moved into our now home, or the unexplainable horse ghost that my husband experienced, let me know. I definitely want to hear that for sure. Send that in,
Especially
Jessica.
I gotta know about a horse ghost. Yeah.
Pull it up. I need to see it. Thanks for being my Tennessee besties. My husband and I got to visit Knoxville and Gatlinburg for the first time this July for our 10-year anniversary, and we loved it. Talk to you later, bitches. Jessica.
Thanks, Jess.
Wow.
First, I gotta know, how did curiosity not kill the cat about the phone? I
Yeah,
would have had to
friend.
go up there and answer
yeah.
that phone. Hello?
Jessica, I'm
You
coming
can
to
try to
Ohio.
Call me
there.
for 20 years now.
I want to
Gotta go up
go.
there.
I would. Me, Susan, Morgan, Christie, and
Yeah, I'm
Heather.
in.
We're
I'll
on
go.
a trip.
We're go.
We just
We'll
did
go
our
up
first
your
Friday
alley.
night paranormal investigation.
First, we'll
Yeah.
do
Let's
Dolly
do it.
Wayne. We'll get a piece of pie. We'll jump in the car. We'll drive up there. We'll go pick up
childhood
Susan.
home.
Drive up there. Do all that. We got to do it. Sounds like a great idea. We'll,
because it
think
sounds
you-
like she's,
Busting the attic.
she's
Message coming
experiencing some
through.
stuff.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so
you
too.
gotta go
I-
up there and
she's
answer
the
the
only
phone.
one that's hearing it. But didn't she say that her mom knew what she was referring to? Or do you think she just over the years, her mom knew that she was hearing a phone ringing, but like, or maybe her mom never heard it herself? Or you think her mom's like, I've heard it too. I know what you're
well, it was just the
referencing."
way that.
hope
Well,
she
her
wouldn't
mom said has
lie.
always said that she's never heard it. I feel like her mom by this point would have like been like, "Hey, you're not crazy. Like I hear it."
Hopefully.
But the thing is though is that the second that she brought this up to her mom when it first happened all those years ago, her mom immediately said, "Oh, it's your aunt calling you," and like she just knew. So maybe that was something that the aunt said before she passed away. Like, I'm gonna fuck everyone's landlines up. Like
I'm gonna call you.
Y'all
never
just-
stop calling you.
I'm going to repeatedly call you.
Like,
So maybe that's
listen.
what it was. You know.
You gotta go answer the phone, and then maybe it'll stop. Maybe she just needs to say something, and then it ends.
Yeah.
the phone in the attic that they didn't even know was there.
Like there's
Yeah.
something up there for sure, friend. We got to take a trip.
Yeah.
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 And
Opening
the
it's not a
reincarnation
phone,
story,
but something.
that is insane.
The
That
having a
happens.
full in a Sears,
Yes.
a full German conversation
Sears.
in a Sears, cherry on
It's
top.
real.
It's real.
That kind of stuff. If you watch Surviving Death on Netflix, the last episode when they talk to Dr. Jim Tucker of I think it's the University of Virginia School of Medicine or something like that, but he goes and would get more information out of the kids and then check it against records. Like one of the cases they cover in that is a little kid who says, my name is Jalen. I lived in Brooklyn and a man was really mean to me and I died. And they go and look in the news records or a man or whoever was really mean to me and I died. And it was like a caregiver or babysitter had killed a young kid named Jalen in this certain day. They showed him like 5 pictures of a playground, one of which was the kid's playground nearest to his house. And out of the lineup, he was like, it's that one. They showed 5 pictures of the deceased kid's mom and said, which one of these? He's like, oh, mommy, that's my mom right there. And they showed 5 guys that's my dad right there. Picked him out of the lineup. Like it's wild. And the doctor he's not saying, oh, past lives are real. He's just saying we can't explain how this little kid on the other side of the country knows so much. And there was 2 other ones. One was an Iwo Jima veteran. Like the kid was like having nightmares, like my plane's going down. And they're like, what do you mean? And he was like, I was a Marine. My name was James. I was in Iwo Jima. And they're like, what? And then they track it down. And there was a guy who died in a plane in Iwo Jima, and your 5-year-old doesn't have access to the internet and enough to research someone's life story.
They can't read.
They can't read
either. Especially the little ones.
Not that level.
And they're not going to know how to say Iwo Jima. I barely know how to say that.
But it's sweet to watch these parents, trying to work with a psychiatrist and go, how do we help our kids through this? And it's not deny. He's like, figure out a way for them to get closure. And so the parents take the kids on a trip to kind of make them feel like their past life can get closure. But it's wild. I think they do 3 or 4 stories in that episode.
Fine, I'll watch it tonight.
Wow.
Little bit, but they say it dwindles as they get to be like 4, 5, 6 years old. As they get older, they don't really remember anymore. So
the veil becomes thicker. So
Yeah.
Guten
Tag.
Yeah.
German is
Guten
gone.
Tag.
I'd be pissed if I knew a foreign language and it went away. Like bilingual people are amazing. Like your brain is so smart to be able to speak 2 languages. And if it was just built in, I'd be like, damn it, I forgot.
I want that to happen.
I wonder if it would be easier for her to learn German like in like later years than it would for like someone like me who had
Yeah.
What are
Nothing.
Jessica, I need to know what her grades are for her foreign language classes.
and did she
Yeah.
take German?
Because she
Also,
had to
I
have
think
taken German.
You got to take German again, and then maybe things will start coming back to you, and even like memories and stuff.
Take a trip to Germany and just see.
Stuff. Oh,
Yeah, see if you have like nostalgic, longing kind of feelings.
Yeah, that's
So cool.
Wild. That
wild.
I
It is.
love.
I hope my kid does that
reincarnation.
to me.
Me too.
Past life kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
is
that-
fascinating.
And they're like, hi,
If my
Mom.
kid starts
It's me,
speaking
Beyonce.
German-
I'd be like,
Woo! Yeah.
I'm reincarnated as Elvis.
No, y'all. Our luck. It's gonna be like we end up having a kid, and it's
like,
gonna,
hi, I'm Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, and we're like, shit.
Damn it.
Better than Ed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're like, that's fine, but shit. Can you still talk to dead people? What's the deal? All right, I'm ready for you more.
Alrighty. The next one is from Kate using she, her pronouns. Title is I Wish I Was Joking.
I love
I
that.
can't wait. Hello, ladies. My name is Kate, she, her, and I'm a 20-year-old college student in Mississippi. I'm a newbie coming over from Circle Time, and let me just say I am obsessed. CNC is all I've been listening to. Thank you for covering these cases and creeps in a manner that's respectful, palatable, and self-aware. It's hard to find true crime or horror podcasts that humanize the victims they talk about, and you girls do just that, so thank you. Very kind.
We
Thank you.
surround ourselves with great people, so
That's why we love you.
That's the key to it.
that's the key to
Anyway,
it.
and now that the pleasantries are out of the way, boy, oh boy, besties, do I have a creepy account for you. Before I get into it, here's some context. I go to a smaller private college in central Mississippi, not a state school.
Okay.
Although I live on campus, my parents only live about 30 minutes away. So at least once a week, I go home for the evening to eat a home-cooked meal and wash my clothes.
Iconic.
Because of the crumbling state of the interstate route, our infrastructure sucks. I take the scenic route of the Natchez Trace Parkway. The route is heavily wooded and is gorgeous for day drives during the fall, but absolutely horrifying at night. There's no light other than the headlights of cars that drive on the road. With this all in mind, here's my account. This happened on Saturday night, November 4th, 2023.
Oh shit, friend.
It was chilly, so as I was driving, I was hyper aware of deer that may come sprinting across the road. I had my brights on because it was dreadfully dark. I was steadily becoming aware of just how deserted the road was for this somewhat early time of night, 7 p.m. I had only had to turn my brights off for an approaching vehicle twice. I reached a part of Trace that was a straightaway, a good couple 100 feet of straight road, no curves. Because I had my brights on, I could see up ahead a fair amount. Further ahead, I could see a fairly large deer laying on the side of the road, dead. Now, my girlies from the south know that where there's one deer, even if it's dead, there's going to be at least 10 more lurking somewhere nearby.
100%.
So, needless to say, I was on high alert. As my eyes flicked up and down the tree lines ahead of me, I saw the dead deer begin to move backwards and abruptly, as if it was being dragged. I thought it could be a game warden just doing their job of removing roadkill from the roads while it was less crowded than normal. Yet the more I looked, I realized I saw not a single car or truck.
Shit.
I knew that sometimes they pulled their cars, trucks far off the road, but I had a reasonable amount of visibility, and I can confidently say that there was nothing indicating the presence of another person out there. It was at this point where I got a little fearful, but not so much so that I didn't want to be nosy and investigate further. So as I pulled up next to the dragged deer, I rolled my window down to get a clearer look. I was met with something that had me sprinting to my room whenever I made it back to campus. Outside of my window, there was a shadow, almost like the silhouette of a person, like you were looking at someone in the dark. There were no visible features except their eyes, specifically the whites of their eyes. They were almost illuminated and looking right at me. I rolled my window up quickly and sped up to get back quicker. I tried to rationalize what I saw. I thought maybe my headlights were illuminating their eyes, just not their features. But that makes no sense, because why would the headlights that are lighting up the area in the front of my car illuminate something that's on the far right of it?
Right.
The more friends I told, the more I felt like I was going crazy. But I know what I saw, and it freaked me out. I've attached a very, very crude drawing of what I saw out of my window. You can for sure laugh at it because it is not at all a worthy artistic rendition. But it's just to help you picture what was in front of me. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Even if it doesn't make it to the episode, much love. You both deserve all the love and light available.
Well, thank you so much.
Are you sending them a picture?
Yeah.
From Kate.
Look.
I am going to text this to you guys right now.
I love it. It's like
I love an artist rendering.
Kate said, let me get on Snapchat real fucking quick.
Yeah.
And let me piece this together.
We're Dollyween, right? That's the name of ours?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Here we go. Why didn't I text you guys in this? And why was I emailing you? Like, here we go.
Professional.
Yes,
For
very
the professional shorties. Oh, well, this is the most amazing drawing I've ever seen in my life. You know what's funny? That's exactly what I envisioned, because I was thinking, you know, even let's for a second pretend it wasn't supernatural. I was like, there could be like tree people, like people living out in the bush out there, and they don't want us to see them, and so they got all kinds of everything. But the one thing that you can't really hide is your eyes. Like
You're
even
right.
if you have like full coverage of everything, you know, even a gimp mask would show your
Camouflage,
eyes.
Right, and there's no
Camouflage.
light out there, so no one could like put like sunglasses on or anything because you wouldn't be able to see. There's no street lights or anything.
You'd
So
look
it's
really
just
cool,
hill
but
people
you couldn't
living
see.
out there. Well, the hills do have eyes. We have
do.
one, so
I have
it turns out it's true.
I have to just say from this picture, it just looks like this cute little thing that's like,
It's perfect.
You caught me with my dinner.
Yeah.
What are you doing
Yeah,
here?
it's like the deer is just clip art, and I love that she just drew an
emoji.
X over its face. Like these are, it's dead.
It's dead. It died.
You, despite, I mean, it is a rudimentary insofar as that you clearly drew it with your hands, but you have to appreciate the artistic talent of this, that there's like perspective, like the trees in the back, the deer in the front.
There's
It's
depth.
layered.
It is
This
layered.
good.
Depth,
You
yeah.
know what?
And she
Good for you.
pulled 3 trees and made them really. I mean, I think I'm gonna frame this. I think I'm
This
gonna
is
take my art out of the frame, and I'm going to immediately put this in there. I love this.
I don't know what it.
so good.
What if it was Sasquatch?
I don't. My favorite
Bigfoot,
thing
dude.
is that what you said about his stance. Like he's like, what?
He's like, oh shit, what's up?
What you want? Huh?
I'm just trying to get my
He's trying
dinner.
to get a deer. He's trying to eat.
I haven't eaten in 2 fucking days. It's just a
Yeah,
hangry. He's a hangry Sasquatch.
Yeah.
We have the
The old hangry
S-Dub
Sasquatch. of
S-Dub
Mississippi.
possibility.
Oh, we do have S-Dub.
S-Dub possibility.
Oh yes.
Are you
The
with
not
us?
deer is what
No, it could be.
people call them quite regularly on ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the anything dragging is already I'm out. I don't like the visual of that. But then you're just like, what is it? And you just see these eyes. I almost think the creepiest answer is yours, Heather. That it's like hill people just getting their kill.
Yeah.
And taking
Once-
it back to their
I-
lair.
You learn about people that on, you know, unclaimed, I don't say unclaimed, but like, you know, country land, government land or whatever, where there's not a lot of foot traffic, not a lot of people going there, and they use it to grow drugs or whatever, whether they have like Breaking Bad
Right.
style out there or like grow areas. And it is a extremely vicious person that says, get off of my land. So that scares me more, that there's somebody that's out in the woods doing some shit they don't need to be doing, and they were just like, I'm gonna go get that deer meat off of the thing, and that you accidentally stumble upon and they're like, we've been spotted, we gotta get her. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and then
my
they
fear. Like they're just like, maybe she'll keep driving. And they're like, surely someday she's not going to write into a podcast and draw an artistic rendering about this. Joke's on you, hill people. She did.
Like, oh, we've been
Exposed.
spotted.
Yeah,
Her picture was perfect. It's like looking in a
love
mirror.
I feel like we're looking at a composite sketch.
Yes.
in a crime. Like,
Give me a lineup. I think I could do it.
Give me a lineup for sure. Thank you so much, Kate, for that. I'm obsessed with this.
Me too.
I love it. I'm gonna think about it every day for the rest of my life. I love him. Okay, the next one we have is from Izzy, and the title is "This Bitch Is a Long One." Please read. I love how everything else is capitalized and it's please read. Hey girls, my name is Izzy, and I just wanted to start off by saying that I just started listening to your podcast about a month ago, and I am hooked. I am trying to catch up on all the creepy accounts because they are my absolute fave. It feels like having a gossip sesh with your friends, which is what I love about you guys. Getting into my story, I wanted to start off by saying that as much as I love all things creepy, I tend to explain away many things that are unexplainable, or I ignore it until whatever scary thing around me goes away. LOL. I also want to add that my family is pretty religious. Like religious as in anything paranormal they believe is demons. I don't know if I agree with this completely, but I'm open to all possibilities. Despite my personal feelings, the account that I'm going to tell you about, I 1000% believe was demons. This started in the spring of my sophomore year in high school. Things in my house at this time were very uneasy. There was always a fight or argument going on between everyone. It wasn't a good time for our family. Without getting too much into detail, there was just a lot of resentment. It was also so draining being home. I was also dealing with some things that happened to me, and so my mental health wasn't in the best place. The night this haunting, I'm still not sure what to call it, started, we had just had some family over to our house. Whenever my cousins would come over, I would go and hide in my room because I was your average moody teenager, and I would be secretly texting my BF at the time, who I was forbidden to see. LOL. I love this for you. I love this for you, Izzy. That night, I had fallen asleep early, so I did not say goodbye to my family. The next morning, as I was getting ready for church, my mom came into my room and said that when she came in to check on me / make me go say bye to everyone, she saw a dark shadow standing over me. My mom began immediately praying, and the shadow growled at her and then disappeared. Fuck no.
No growls for me. Thank you.
She told me this, and I began to secretly panic. You see, I was 15, and it had only been a few months that I had finally had my own room and felt comfortable. Before this, I was terrified of the dark, and I could not be alone. I know, kind of lame for a high schooler to have such anxiety, but when I was younger, said cousins that were over were watching a movie called An American Haunting with my parents. My youngest cousin and I had walked into the living room and refused to leave because we wanted to prove that we were mature. LOL. Ever since then, I would hate to be in any room by myself, and my dad, to his annoyance, had to sleep on the floor all throughout my elementary school years. Let me tell you this. First off, friend, it's not kind of lame. I'm 25, married, have my own life. I'm terrified of the dark.
Yeah, fuck the dark.
To this day, I'm terrified. Like, it doesn't, it's even when I don't feel something, because you know when you give yourself the pep talk?
Yeah.
When you're like, I gotta walk through the dark, and I
gotta shut this light off and get to my bed.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
but you
You're
also
okay.
like have a conversation with yourself, like, don't let anything stress you out like that. Like, don't be running
Don't be
like
a pussy, bitch. That's what I say.
Yeah, be like, I pay this mortgage. This is my
yeah,
house.
this is my fucking house.
Elbow
Like,
me
I'm
out
this
of here.
bitch. Yeah, and so
pay
you
property
gotta
taxes.
give that prep before you go out, and then in your head you're like, don't be a little bitch. What are you gonna do when you have kids and they're scared of the dark? You better keep walking, calm, upright, bitch. And then I end up running the last little bit, and then I'm sprinting, and I'm like, oh my god, I was so scared out there, babe. And he's like,
I do the nighttime shuffle.
Yeah.
Like a little
Yeah.
like speed walk.
yeah.
I have
Or
lights,
I'm like-
so I'll just flip light. I'm like, am I gonna walk from the bedroom to the kitchen with 0 lights on? I'm not a psychopath. Like,
Yeah.
just
I
in the
guess
dark.
I am, because I walk around my house in the dark all the time.
You're just so brave.
You're brave.
You're fucking, you're not
bravery.
scared.
It's laziness.
24/7.
No.
Also, there's like 1,000 fucking light switches in our living room, and I can
I
never
don't know which
figure it
is
out.
what.
We've lived
Your
here
old
for
house.
like 6 months, and I still don't understand.
That's
the light
me.
switches.
at that house, but at my old house, but also at this new house, I have no idea where any light switch is to anything. We've been here for 2 months, and don't ask me how to turn on that light. I don't know.
No.
After she told me this, I went through the motions of church and tried to ignore what I knew was yet to come. Shortly after this first occurrence, I began developing sleep paralysis. The first time was terrifying. I remember waking up in my frozen state and facing my door that was open. There I saw a shadow. And of course, I tried thrashing my body, but obviously couldn't move. When I was finally able to move, I looked at my doorway and lo and behold, there was a shadow standing there. I can't remember exactly what I did, but I'm pretty sure I ended up going past it and running to my parents' room and sleeping in there for the night. Imagine that, like it's blocking the only exit.
You just gotta
I
run
would
through
have jumped out the window.
Gotta check. Yeah.
Morgan's on the 15th floor and she's like, fuck it.
Out.
Like, peace.
She's
like,
tying all of her
Morgan-
sheets together.
Yeah, see, the rope ladder was for if there was a fire, not if there was a demon. It was like, I can use it for both things. I
That's
can
what they
use it
said.
for two.
It didn't have to say it on the marketing for me to think that I could use it for this. I ended up sleeping in my parents' room for the night. And that's how the next few months went. I would wake up from sleep paralysis and either see the shadow at my doorway or my room would be pitch black. And I couldn't explain the complete and utter darkness of my house because my mom, being the paranoid woman that she was, kept on night lights throughout the house. My mom too. She's iconic for that. I would not be able to see the night lights unless I was right in front of it. During this time, if I did get sleep, I would always wake up between 3:31 and 3:33 a.m.
Ooh, that's very specific. That's
Yeah.
a 2-minute time crunch there.
Yeah, and I love that there's an angel number involved in it too a little bit. When I'd wake up, I would hear footsteps coming from the living room. To be fair, our house did creak a lot, but you can distinguish creaks from people's footsteps. Yes, 100%. They were very loud and heavy, and with how thin the walls were, I would hear exactly what part of the house it was coming from. My sister Steph would come home late from work at about 2 a.m. Sometimes I would just try to blame her and ignore it. Whenever I would talk to my mom about this, she would tell me that she would also wake up around that time too and also felt uneasiness. Other than that, it felt like I got the brunt of the commotion. My dad, being your basic dad, would just tell us to, quote, not give it any attention. Like, yeah, Dad, thanks so much for helping us. We had people at church praying at the house, but we were stuck. I slowly was getting comfortable with all of this happening. One of the sleep paralysis that really scared me at this time started off by me waking up, and again, I could see this shadow figure, but it was in my room this time. I thrashed and tried to break myself free from the pressure that I was feeling on me. Whenever I would get sleep paralysis, at this point, I started trying to move my lips and sing the children's Bible song that always popped into my head. It would be so hard to move my lips, but once I uttered out the word Jesus, I would be let go. This time, I felt more uneasy than usual, so I ran to my little sister, Becca's room. She was only like 6 at the time and completely oblivious to everything that was happening in
Becca's
our
like,
house.
slumber party.
He's just trying to sleep, and she's like, "What?
Nice.
That ghost? What do we do?"
Becca's like,
a
grab
nice
the
solid
leapfrog. Let's go. This sounds so fun. Welcome to my room, bitch.
We're gonna solve it.
Yep. It's completely safe in here. She was only like 6 at the time and completely oblivious to everything that was happening in the house. I pushed her towards the wall and I pushed her towards the wall and I climbed into her tiny twin-sized bed and tried to fall asleep. When I did, I had sleep paralysis again.
Oh my God.
I heard our older sister come into the house. Her footsteps were completely different than the ones that I would regularly hear, and tried to call out her name, but obviously I couldn't. This is when something different happened to me. Part of me could see from my eye the door in my sister's room, while the other part of me felt like I was being held up against the wall looking down at my body.
What?
Hate it.
Well, I don't remember seeing anything, but I was having 2 different experiences at the same time. Wow. When this was happening, I was freaking out. I was trying to scream for one of my sisters or anyone in the house for that matter to help me. I kept thinking, my sister is a bitch. How can she just be sleeping peacefully and not
Poor
hear
Becca.
or feel me trying to move on the bed with her? Poor
Becca's
6-year-old
like,
Becca.
I get shoved up against the wall.
Yeah,
now you're
I'm in
calling me a
kindergarten.
bitch.
I can't do anything. Leave
What am I gonna do for you? You're stuck on the ceiling, Cess. That's hilarious. I remember thinking my sister's a bitch and not when I'm trying to move the bed. Finally, when I was released, I did not have the energy to freak out. I just passed out until the morning time. The final time I felt this dark presence, I remember staying up really late to watch TV. When I woke up, I was, of course, in a state of sleep paralysis. I looked up at the door and I saw the dark shadow. My eyes felt forced close, and when I opened them, I saw the dark shadow and a light shadow. When I tried prying my eyes open again, the white shadow was in front of me. And I screamed, or as much as I could in my frozen state. As soon as I closed my eyes again, it felt like the biggest weight was lifted off of my shoulders. I felt so peaceful and at ease. Whatever it was had left our house because I didn't feel anything for a very long time. I still have sleep paralysis pretty regularly, but I tend to just ignore whatever I see in my frozen state. Anyways, that's the end of my story. Every time I try to finish this email, my phone keeps glitching, so let's hope nothing scary is going to happen. Love you guys so much. Bye.
Whoa. I don't like the whole like eyes closed, eyes open, dark light, white light thing.
Well,
That's
maybe you
kinda
saw
scary.
like a battle between
you're
Satan and
evil.
God, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
literally.
You like in your
Sleep
bedroom.
paralysis is so scary. It's
It
happened to me
is.
like twice when you're awake
Hate
and
it.
you know you're kind of awake, but you just can't move. But then you're like not sure if you really are awake. It's
awful.
To be like paralyzed like that is very unsettling.
The
And
times I have it, I usually scream myself out of it, which is unfortunate for whoever I'm sharing a bed with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way out of it. They're like,
I
I did
also
tell
can-
Paris.
I can kind of relate to her how she was like in two different. Has that ever happened to you guys? Like two different experiences in one sleep paralysis. There was one instance.
Didn't you say that
I've
happened to
done
you?
that. Me?
No, Morgan.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yes.
was one instance where I was like, I know I was sleeping against the wall, but like, and I could see the wall, but at the same time, my head was totally turned and I was looking at like the doppelganger of my college roommate.
Yeah.
Like it was like 2 in 1.
Wow.
So I wonder if that
never
was
had
like
that.
similar
No, I've
to
never
what
had
she had going on.
That's crazy. I've only had sleep paralysis once, and I don't want it again. So I'm gonna.
No,
She astral projected.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I will astral
Yeah,
project.
maybe
I love doing
maybe
that.
she did.
Maybe
yeah.
you did. Maybe you were just so scared you just like yeeted your body up and out of
You
your.
yeeted yourself
Yeah.
out of your body.
You were like
yeeted her
just.
soul.
Izzy's like, I'm gonna fuck out of here, and Becky's
Yeah.
like, sis.
Yeah.
Like, where'd you go?
And Becca's being like, "You're doing it yourself. I can't.
Yeah, I can't help you. You chose
Just
this.
come back down. Just free fall. Release."
Wow.
Thank you, Izzy, for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you
that.
so much, Izzy.
So this one is from Anonymous using pronouns she, her. Title is My Childhood Home, Guardian Angels, and Crime Accounts. Well, ladies, I just got done listening to Creepy Accounts Volume 17, and you said to send in your creepy accounts on the 28th of the month. It's currently March 28th. Sorry.
Oh, friend.
I'm taking that as a sign to bombard you with my stories. I'm not the best at storytelling, so if anything needs clarification, just let me know. I've been able to see and feel spirits, energy ever since I can remember. There have been times in my life, though, where I chose to close myself off. We can start with my childhood home. We moved there when I was 6 months old, and through the church we went to, we actually became friends with the original owners of our house. Since all of our family was in another state, the original owners, we will call them Larry and Isabel, kind of became like another set of grandparents to me and my siblings. When I was younger, both of them had passed away, but at separate times. I don't remember when Larry passed exactly, but Isabel passed on Christmas Eve when I was 9 years old. I remember we got the call after church service. I would occasionally feel them in our home, especially during the times my parents were remodeling the home. What's important to know for these stories is that when I was in 8th grade, a very close friend and classmate, trigger warning suicide, committed suicide, and that was sadly the first of many losses of friends I experienced throughout middle and high school. Wow.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Each time I lost a friend, I could feel Larry and Isabel with me just watching over me. But the last death hit the hardest. Right before my senior year, I had a summer love who accidentally overdosed on his prescription meds. I was devastated and severely depressed. During this time, my bedroom was the old master bedroom, aka Larry and Isabel's bedroom. Every night during my senior year, they were there to tuck me in and let me know I was loved and needed by my friends and family still on earth. I could feel their hugs at night when I couldn't sleep or when I wake at night reliving the pain all over again. Their love and energy was right there. It helped me get through the pain. When I moved out of my parents' house, my old room became the guest room. 8 years later, when I brought my newborn daughter to my parents' home for the first time, I took her to my old room to nurse for some privacy and quiet. In the middle of nursing, I felt a huge sense of warmth and pride, and she pulled off of me and looked over my shoulder and smiled for a good minute and then looked at me and went right back to nursing. Oh. I'll cry right now. I fully believe that she met Larry and Isabel that day. Aww. Now, a few years after that, my best friend had come home. She lives 1,000 miles away, and she had borrowed my mom's car instead of renting one for the week. Well, she didn't need it anymore, so her boyfriend, first time he's come home with her, and I went to return the car and keys to my parents' house. My parents weren't home at the time, so our plan was to park the car in the garage, but put the keys in their keyboard and lock up on our way out. So we parked the car in the garage, and I opened the door to the kitchen from the garage. Now, it's important to note that it was around Christmas time, so my parents had all their decorations up, which were all off when we got to their house. The second I opened the kitchen door, I heard a very familiar sound. Ever since I was little, we've had an ornament that makes a very unique sound when the tree turns on. That was the sound I heard, and then all the Christmas lights turn on, including their Christmas village. My bestie and her boyfriend ask if someone was home, and I say, no one's home. I grab the keys and I throw them in the bowl and then go and turn off all the Christmas decorations. We then leave through the front door, and I lock up, and they ask me what the fuck just happened, and I say, quote, I'm fairly certain that was just Larry and Isabel saying hello and maybe trying to scare your new boy. I could feel their energy with me, and there was zero other explanation for what happened. When I told my parents, they both agreed that that's never happened before and don't know how it could have. Now on to my guardian angels, one in particular. My boyfriend that passed that I mentioned earlier. I call him my guardian angel because he's a very protective and loving energy that is around whenever I need it. And he's shown himself to me, although I've had to ask him not to because it scares me when he pops up. But there's a very special way he's learned to show me he's there without spooking me. See, we had a joke song as our song, and after he passed, I heard it all the time. And I've heard it for very special moments in my life. After my now husband proposed to me and we got in the car, that song was the first song to play on the radio. Same with after our wedding ceremony and on our way to the reception.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And when we brought our newborn daughter home from the hospital, it popped up on the radio. And when I'm streaming on Pandora and I've had a hard day, it pops up on the radio. Oh. But the day I truly knew I wasn't crazy, and this can't just be a coincidence, was when my bestie was driving home to visit. It's a 15-hour drive, and she was texting me. I told her to quit texting and driving, and then I prayed to God and my guardian angels to watch out for her on her trip. I hadn't told her that I had done that, and not 5 seconds later, she texted me a picture. Her radio was playing the song.
I have chills.
What? I told her she had a guardian angel riding shotgun with her for the trip, and I believe my daughter has also met him, and maybe before she was even here. When she was very little, she told me she has 2 daddies, one here on earth, my husband, and her daddy in heaven, and used his name.
I'm gonna cry.
I have never talked with her about him. I've never mentioned him around her. She's only 7 right now, far too young for me to tell her the horrors that I experienced as a teen. There's no way she'd know his name, but I believe he helped send her to me. My husband and I had a hard time getting pregnant, and I was getting pretty depressed about it. The next month, I had a positive pregnancy test and a very healthy pregnancy and baby.
Oh, okay. I'll read the other half for you. Okay. This is why I made this the last one. Now on to the crime account. For years, my husband worked opposite shifts and days from me, so usually I was at home alone with our daughter at night until about 1 a.m. This night, I was home with my daughter and our almost 1-year-old dog. Our dog had been acting kind of bonkers, and I thought it was just because she couldn't settle down. So I put her in her kennel to calm her and was going to text my husband to let her out when he got home in a couple of hours. It was like 11 p.m. and I needed to sleep. So I laid down, and the moment my head hit the pillow, I heard talking, and I couldn't tell if it was outside or in the basement. I was completely freaked out, but ran back to the opposite side of the house to let our dog out of the kennel. And as I opened the basement door so she could check that out, she's a 60-pound pit. I trusted that she could handle any situation. And then grabbed my phone and a kitchen knife. My dog went through the house and then came back to me and sat next to me. By this time, my husband was off work, so I called him and he said that he would be home ASAP. I checked all of the doors and the windows and made sure that they were locked, and I didn't see anything outside, so I thought maybe I just was tired and I was hearing things. When my husband got home, he checked all around the house and he didn't see anyone, and then he did the same thing inside. So I officially thought that I was crazy and I went to bed. The next morning, I saw a text from my friend and neighbor asking if everything was okay because there was a cop car outside of my house and she knew that my husband had recently had some medical issues. I texted back and said that we were all good, but explained what happened the night before. Then I decided, F this, I'm going to see if anyone in the neighborhood saw anything. So I started a neighborhood chat because it was 2020 and I was very serious about social distancing. Well, absolutely love that. Well, through the chat, we were able to piece together some things as our town is tiny. I'm talking less than 1,000 people. Apparently, a man had strangled, trigger warning. A man had strangled and beat his girlfriend and then was hiding around the town with a friend from the cops as he was on parole. That's who was outside of my window. The cops were parked outside of my house as they had found him between mine and my neighbor's house. I ordered security cameras and extra locks that day, and we have a continuous neighborhood chat now. If anything semi-unusual happens, I'm talking my dogs have been acting a little strange. Anyone else? You see anything weird? We also have... I am trusting my dog's intuition from now on. Anyways, I hope that wasn't too long. I have more weird stories, and I'm fairly certain that my daughter knew her past life when she was younger and would also talk to ghosts in a graveyard. So if y'all want to know that, if you want another long as fuck email, you two are wonderful. I'm loving binging your podcast, and I'm kind of sad that I'm getting caught up. So
many kid reincarnation stories. Send me them.
Anonymous person, I have Susan for you.
Oh, I
and
can't
for
wait.
you guys too.
I want to hear this.
Hey y'all, this is Susan from Angel Wings and Healing Things saying hey to Taylor and Morgan and to Christie and Heather and thanking them for all the referrals they give me on their podcast, Sinisterhood. I'm very honored. So I just wanted to say thanks to the listener that sent in their creepy accounts and the 3 stories. I always love when people are aware that they have energy and always trusting themselves when spirits are around. And closing it off is normal because sometimes self-preservation is great, but we know it's always around them and use it when they need it. We're going to go start with Larry and Isabel, as she called as her adoptive grandparents. They're honored and they love the fact that the whole family accepted them and they accept each other. And they love the fact that she trusts them and allows them to be around and help them, and that's such an honor, and that she acknowledges them is great. And remodeling's not an uncommon time for people that have lived in a house to be around. In this case, they were just approving of the changes and letting them know that regardless of if they changed it, they'd still be there and stay and intervene where they need it. I'm sorry about all that your friends that you lost. That's always hard. But it's very heartwarming that you're aware that Larry and Isabel are there for support, that they tucked you in when you were young, and that's such a heartwarming way, and that you acknowledged that they tucked you in and were very receptive of their support and love. The fact that you know that they came to meet your daughter and that your daughter acknowledged them and met them is huge in their world, and they are so touched that you allowed that to happen. They're very proud of you and the life that you've created and the family that you have. They're still around, not just in your parents' house, though they're in yours as well. Being that they loved Christmas and the fact that she passed on Christmas Eve and that you always remember them at this time, it was just a great way to come and let you know that they were around and wishing you a Merry Christmas. They thought it was kind of neat, too, that your friends were shocked and surprised that they were there and that you acknowledged them. So the one with your boyfriend that passed, that he's very grateful that you acknowledged that he's your guardian angel and always around. Even your daughter and friends, he overlooks anything that you feel is important in your world. So he'll be there and stay there. And he's honored. He said, sometimes you're a little stubborn, but that's okay. He'll be around, and he's very grateful that you acknowledge him. And the last segment you wrote in about, I just simply want to say to keep yourself open and trust your intuition. You're much stronger than you give yourself credit for. And people believe in you and love you, even from the other side. You have tons of support. So remember to use that and trust in yourself. Thanks for sending in your stories, and it was wonderful to read them, and I hope we hear more from you. Take care.
I love her. Oh my
Susan.
gosh, I'm obsessed.
Fucking
She's
love
so
her.
sweet.
She's so sweet.
so
Angel herself.
She is.
Sweet, she is. Yeah,
We're
She's our
obsessed.
She's so
guardian
sweet,
angel.
but also she's so encouraging and positive about everything. So you feel like I feel better.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
having heard her like explanation.
I will
and
be
stuff.
open to my energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
intuition.
You know what?
Thank you.
I will do you know what, Susan? Open the gates.
Open the gates.
Let 'em
You're
open.
doing it.
Good things
Yeah.
in.
Rip 'em
But that's
open.
sweet though. I
Yeah.
didn't even make that connection of Isabel passing on Christmas.
Me
Eve and
either.
No, I
making that
didn't.
Christmas
Yeah.
connection.
Wait, I didn't either. Was that even
Was
written?
that even written in there?
It was in the story. I
Oh, it
remember
was
now when
that she-
when Susan said it, I remembered it.
I didn't even
But-
hear it, I guess.
I
was
didn't,
right
I
at-
didn't remember that either, but
towards
that
the
would
beginning.
explain the Christmas decorations. And
Isabel
why-
passed on Christmas Eve when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
And she
has a
Isabel was like, yeah,
connection to it.
tell your friends I'm cool.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Oh,
I'm
what a
back.
sweet little
Yeah.
touch. I love that.
Yeah,
Susan
okay.
did that for us.
Yeah, so that was what
sweet.
Susan wanted to do when I told her that y'all were coming on with us today. She was like,
well, we have to call her and get
Yeah,
our own
you do.
readings. Like
you do.
within
I'm
the
interested.
next week, we got
Yes.
to
100%.
Please do.
Send me
You
the
gotta
info.
text
We'll
us.
do it.
I will. I'll send you her card. Anybody that
yeah.
wants to connect with Susan, we're actually going to be working on getting her a QR code from here on out so we can pop it up.
Cool.
Yeah, she said, you know what I'm thinking?
kind.
I want a QR code. I
Becoming
said,
very
"Bitch."
tech savvy. Our girl
Yeah.
didn't even know how to make a Facebook.
Yeah,
a couple years
look at
ago.
us. And so
Aw.
if you guys ever want to contact Susan, you guys can check out the description in this episode wherever you're listening, or on Instagram. I always put it on creepy account episodes, and sometimes I throw it in on extra ones if Morgan does something that's like satanic and terrifying. So anyways,
That's been a lot recently.
yeah, it has been. Thank y'all so much for coming on, and everyone that wrote in their
Thank
stories.
you.
Thank
This
you
is
so
a blast.
much.
We appreciate
Yeah,
it so much.
it was all the stories were great. Oh, I'm gonna
fun.
be thinking about these for a while. Spooky, fun, it's heartwarming, and
Heartwarming.
sad. You know,
It's sad,
Ran-
yeah.
ran the gamut there.
And
We
yeah,
did.
the
so
lesson
glad we
to
ended with
carry is
Susan.
listen to your listen to your
Yeah.
intuition and be open to your guardian angels, which we all need as we're surviving Thanksgiving today and going into the holiday season.
Yeah.
Yes.
No matter if
Right.
you're listening to this right when it comes out or 5 years from now, you can always use that advice. So thank
You
you,
can.
Susan.
100%.
Thank you. And thank y'all for having us. We so
Yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so
Thank you
much.
so
We love you
much.
both.
We
And
love
all
you.
all the messages that they include of how respectful you are and how
Accurate.
great your chemistry is. We echo all of those. That's
You guys are wonderful.
why
Okay.
we love working with y'all.
Well, we
So-
fucking love you guys. I want you to come back
we
every
love
day.
y'all.
We're gonna come.
Yes.
We're gonna
Happy
eat a-
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm
We're gonna
getting
be
that
there.
pie. I'm gonna
Get a
order
pie.
a $300 pie for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, see if they ship
Dollywood.
it. $220.
Just Dolly ship.
okay.
If one
I don't
slice is 20, no wait, the whole pie was 20 pounds, right? There's no way the
20
one
pounds.
slice was 20.
Yeah, I
it has
would
to be the whole
imagine it
pound.
would be if so. UPS is gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
You know
ma'am?
what?
And I'm
Golden
gonna be
belly
like, "It's a
this."
pie.
Yeah,
Don't
that'd be
even
good.
tempt me to drive down to Dollywood.
Well, the
And-
way I want to go get one right now
and overnight ship it to
and
you.
then send it to
Thank
you.
you.
What if we did
Please.
that for y'all? And
be
y'all
my
just
God,
open
I'd
your
die.
door and there's a huge
just
pumpkin
300
outside with a gigantic
I'll be like, we have
pie.
to. We gotta. They sent us the pie. We gotta mail them this big pumpkin off my porch as a response.
gifting
as
war.
There's a
symbol.
raccoon in it
Yes.
that's left
Oh
over.
man.
Petals there.
It's like, y'all have got to stop. We cannot. People are throwing out their
been-
backs left and right over this joke y'all have.
We get a
going
call
on.
from
Real
freaking
funny.
USPS. They're living.
Shit.
Hold my
By the
back
way,
out.
Susan wanted me to say this. She said, "Let me know if you guys need anything. Love you all. Sending love and light." And then she sent a fairy emoji.
Aww.
Fairy
So
emojis
sweet.
back at you, Susan.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yes,
she's so
fairy
sweet.
Emojis for all.
For all.
Appreciate y'all.
Well, guys, thanks so much. We had a great
Thank
time.
you.
Everyone,
Thank
go
you
listen
too.
to Sinisterhood wherever.
Listen to Sinisterhood right now.
Sinisterhood.
I'm always like, it's sisterhood, but evil.
You know,
Yeah.
just the sinister kind. I
Yeah,
love that.
Anywhere you get your podcast, you can find us on socials at Sinisterhood Pod or at Sinisterhood. We have a YouTube channel.
Y'all's videos
and we
on our
just
YouTube?
y'all's and our the video of our first paranormal investigation we recently did aboard the USS North Carolina. So we have a lot of very
When's that coming out?
Spooky.
It's already out.
It's already out?
Came out today. Yeah, the episode came out today. And
It
the
came
video
out
is
today.
out.
I saw the story on Instagram.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
What the what?
I haven't been on
The
Instagram
video,
yet.
we captured some stuff that it's unexplained. We can't say it's 100% paranormal, but it was very creepy and weird. So we're letting everyone be the judge of what they think it was.
I think.
I can't wait to
it was
watch.
a sailor.
He was a sailor. He cussed like one. He looked like one.
Yeah. Heather kept telling it to goose me.
I was like, grab her.
Grab
Grab
her.
a hold of her.
Pinch her ass.
Honk her. Honk on her. I did.
I had headphones on. I couldn't even hear. I'm in the middle of the Estes
You're doing the
method.
Estes method?
Yeah.
And I was going,
And then afterwards, I watched
her.
the footage, and Heather's like, "Goose her. She didn't mind. She's my best friend. Just go up and grab her. Just grab her right
and
now."
then Christy goes, the bench just moved. And I was like,
Okay, just kidding. You're like, actually,
Like
back
the
out of
ghost
it. She
sailor on my
does
back.
mind.
Back it up. Back it up.
Oh,
Christy's
shit.
wondering why she's sitting over there being like, no, I don't want to do
I'm
that.
Like, stop. That's my ass.
What
Yeah.
ship was it again? The USS what?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
It's in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's the most decorated warship of World War II. So
World War II.
a lot
I had no
happened
idea.
there.
I had no
we-
idea.
And Tennessee Connection, we had Southern Gothic on our show, and he mentioned that there is in Franklin, Tennessee, there's some haunted Mason lodge, and one of our listeners went and said it was very spooky and creepy. So y'all got to get out there to this.
It's still
That's
active
like
Masonic
Masonic, like-
Lodge.
Like Freemason?
Yeah.
Still, they
They
still
just
use
let
it
the
for
public walk
meetings.
in,
I believe you can do like special tours that are certain times of the year and certain.
sell your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Guys,
also, it's
what are
haunted
we
as
doing?
fuck, so-
Let's go do that
Who wants to
together.
get famous today?
We got to.
We have to go do that together too on our little road trip. We're gonna go check out the attic. We're gonna go get the pie. We're gonna go to Dollywood.
Go
Well, I
to
can
Tennessee.
swing by. I mean, we've got a huge travel plan.
Booking a week.
We
booking
do.
a
Yeah.
week.
We're taking a week off.
We're gonna
and
have
just
to.
hitting every hot spot in Tennessee.
We'll take the mics in the car with us if we need
go,
to.
Go check them out. Watch the video on YouTube because I'm watching it.
We're gonna go
immediately,
watch it
so.
right now.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
y'all. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
I'm turn that off. Love you. Bye.
Love it. Bye.
Love you. Bye.